Okay, good morning to all.
Good morning, sir.
My voice is audible? Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I think I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, and yesterday I think we have already started learning and the C++ programming basics. Today I want to directly move to declaration of the class and how we can declare the class and use the object. Okay, because there may be some of the things which are there in the C++, okay, may be related to the things are already known to you. You know the arithmetic operators. Okay, you are knowing how we can use the for loop, while loop, do while loop. You know how we are using the if condition, else condition, and so on. Okay, so I think instead of wasting, okay, because you are already knowing the C programming language in detail, okay, the syntax are exactly similar. Okay, so there is no need for us to, because if I am going to continue the discussion, okay, of the C++ also in detail, then at that time I think it will take so many lectures for me, okay, to teach you the C++. Okay, so I think there is no need to learn what is mean by the loop, what is mean by if it condition, what is the arithmetic operator, which is the data we are using, and so on. Okay, so these things are already covered, okay, in the C programming. So I think it is better today onwards. Okay, we are going to discussing with the. So I'm just moving directly to the classes and object. I think in previous lectures we have learned in detail what is mean by the class, what is object. Okay, so and all the examples we have seen. I think it is better, okay, that I will share the screen and we start implementing the program, a simple program, okay, which was related to the classes and object. Okay, so because we are have to cover so much syllabus, okay, so it is necessary for us to go directly to understanding how the class is defined, okay, and how the object is created. Okay, so today we are going probably I'm going to take a very simple program, okay, just to understand it. Okay, and when we move to the, then I think maybe the next point we are declaring array of the object, array of the object, and maybe we go to the constructor and destructor. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now. Instead of opening the PPTs now, yeah, directly open the Turbo C Plus editor. I call as the, okay, first program. Okay, we have done it as a, I give the name as or I call it as to class. Okay, so it is the second program, I think, or the first program related to class, but I write one class. A dot CPP. I should not give the name as C. I should give plus plus. Okay. It is visible to all. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So I have given the name of the program is a program to demonstrate a simple class. Okay, so we are considering as we start using, okay, the classes for so many different programs, okay, or the purposes. I think we will may have the class which is a little bit complex and so on. Okay, so I'm considering now the simple class. Okay, okay, as all of you are knowing, we have to must include the file. Okay, so I use it as hash name. What I am using, not stdio.h, I should use iostream.h, okay, because we are doing the C++ program. So iostream.h, make the habit of including the iostream.h. We want to use clear-scene and getish. In that case, getch. In that case, we are using the including the conio.h as a header file. Okay. Now, I think generally what may happen, we are going to write the main function here. Okay, so I'm writing the main function void main void, okay, and so on. Okay, so we just go on doing it. Okay, but whenever we are going to generally declare the class, the declaration of the class, see, all of you have known one important thing is the class. If I'm declare, okay, I'm going to initialize that particular class, but unless and until I create the object, it will not be in use. Okay, so in such a cases, I think the other functions also will have the access to the class. It is always better, always important to declare the class before the main function as a global class. Okay, Instead of declaring the class in the main function or any other function, we maximum, I say it is more than 90-95% time, we declare it as the class as a before the main function as a global. Okay. Now, whenever we are going to declare the class, okay, so now we are having the keyword as we are using, we are declaring as a structure, we are declaring the enum of enumerator and so on, or we are structure similar to it. I'm using the keyword here as a class. So first we are using the keyword as a class. So class is the keyword, and then we have to give the name of the class. Okay, suppose I want to declare the class as a student, then I'm going to use it. Okay, we are going to see all this class related to student, teacher, so many examples afterward. Now I'm just considering as an example, a very simple example. Okay, and I'm referring the textbook. So when you read it again, it will be more easy for you to understand. The initial few lectures, okay, and then we'll be in a position to do very good programs. Okay, so I'm declared, for example, I call this as a small object. So I'm going to declare the small object. So I use it as SMALL, okay, OBJ. So now what is this? A small object is the name of the class. So class is the keyword. I'm going to highlight this here. See, after class, I have to give the name of the class. Suppose it is student, I will give the class student. Okay, so whatever the name of the class you want to declare, or maybe the class and teacher. Okay, so that name. So after the class keyword, I have to give the name of the class, and next line I'm giving opening bracket. Okay, so opening curly bracket. Now after doing the opening curly bracket, or if you are knowing, the class is divided into two parts. One is the data and another is function. Kidding me? So keep this in your mind. Whenever I declare the class, okay, my class is having the two important part. One is the data, and the second that we are considering as the function. Okay, data and function. Now, whenever I declare the class, okay, I'm having this three type of the keywords which is used here. Whether I want to declare data as a private or whether it is protected or public. Okay, so I'm just typing it here for your information. So these are the still keywords that we are going to learn also afterward. Let us first make the concept of class and how to create the object and use it. Now here, whenever I declare the data, whenever I declare the function, I may have the three type of the data abstraction for my class. Okay, I may declare it as a private, I may declare it as a protected. So that's why I think you can find the color is change. Okay, so private color is white, indicate it is a keyword. So private is the keyword, protected is the keyword. Okay, and then we are having, suppose it as a public. Okay, suppose I declare it as a public, then it is also the keyword. Okay, so whenever you declare the data or whenever you declare the function, okay, so you are having the three scope of that particular data that you are declaring in the class. Whether you want to keep that data as a private, okay, whether you want to make it as a protected, and whether it is a public. Okay, so I say that we are going to learn these three things in detail afterward in any other lecture. But now I am just considering that the private, generally we keep the data as a private, and we are generally, in general, I am talking about, in general, we keep the data as a private and we keep the function as a public, so that the function can be called by any other function in the program. Okay, so that was the reason, okay, that we are using, generally the data is private and the functions are public. Okay, going to learn this in detail. Now you just remember, I can declare it in the three type of the scope, maybe private, maybe protected, and maybe public. Okay, you know, public means it is accessible to all. Okay, so as we are considering, so now I am going to declare here, okay, as an example, the data as a private. Okay, I declare the data as a private. Suppose here I just declare one S data. So all data I want to declare, S data is my small data, and it is an integer variable. Okay, so this is my data. In general, what happens? Okay, what I'm saying, in general, what happens? Suppose my class is student. Okay, and I want to collect the information of the student. Then in my private, okay, data, I may have the integer roll number, okay, name of the student, okay, its marks, whatever information I want to collect. Okay, so all this information I'm going to put it in the first part as a data. So here I considered, okay, I write it here, okay, declare data. Okay, so this is my data, and after that data, to work on that data, okay, I require some function, okay, which I am going to manipulate the data. I'm going to display the data, so I'm going to display it here the functions. Okay, member function, or we can call it as a data and function. Now, as I said, this function is having the scope as public. Okay, so I'm declaring the integer as data is private, and then I'm declaring it as a public. Okay, so it will be accessible to we can say other, maybe outside the class it will be accessible. Okay, so I'm writing it as a public. Now I may have the n number of functions over which will operate on my data. Okay, but currently I use two functions, one to set the value of the data and one to display the value of the data. Okay, now here, for example, suppose this is my data is student. So in my function, what I'm having, enter student information. That is my one of the function. Another function, edit the student information. Another, delete the information. Or maybe I may in a position to use this information for display purpose. Okay, display the student information. So all these are my functions, okay, on which I'm working on this data. So data is utilized with the help of this function. Okay, so suppose I declare here the function to set the data. My function is not written anything, so I declare the void set data. I want to set the data, so I use it as the set data as it is. Okay, and now I want to pass the value to it. So whatever I'm passing, it should be reflected in my S data. That value should be there in the S data. Okay, so suppose I consider that it will be the integer and D. Okay, so I'm using void set data. I'm passing the D value to it. Okay, integer D value to this. Okay, and now I'm having two options. I may declare the function over here only, and I will, the code of the function is very large. So many lines are there. Then I declared outside the class. Okay, we are going to learn this in the next lecture. But now I'm consider I write my function directly. Okay, I write the code of my function directly over here because I just want to set the value of the data into D. Okay, so what is my data? What is my private data? S data. Okay. Okay, small data or student data you can consider. Now here I just add S data is equal to D. Okay, because now this function has received the value of D from the user or maybe any other function, and now I want to assign this S data value to D. Okay, which is passed by the user. Getting me? So I consider here, I just go for end of this. Now here, if you are having so many statements, instead I'm having only one statement in my value or I inside my function set data. If you are having 10 instruction or n number of instructions or more instructions, then it is better to write the code outside the class. Okay, but now it is a simple function having only one or two statements. You can directly write it here, no issue. Okay, now this is going to set the value, but now generally we required one function to display, okay, the information. So I use one more function here, void. Okay, just to show data or display data. I use suppose it as a display or show. Okay, I use it as a show data. Okay, now there is no need to pass me any value to this, so I'm not passing any value to this particular function. Now this function is going to display the value of S data. Okay, my data is considered here. I want to display this value, so definitely I will use printf statement. Shall I use printf statement now? Instead of printf, what we are using in the C++? Cout. Okay, yes. So I use here cout. Okay, and I want to display the value of the data here. So I write double quote mark data value is. Okay, I give the colon here, and now I complete the double quote here. Okay, and again I use the operator. Okay, insertion operator, and I use the value. Now this D is assigned to S data. So what is the value I want to display? Data. So I want to display the S data value. Okay. Now here, after S data, suppose I want to go on to the new line. Okay, new line. I want to go to the new line after declaring the data. I'm having one option is I use it in double quote /n here again. Okay, or instead of one more we can say specifier is there, that is called as end L. Okay, at end L indicate line. It is the end of the line. So automatically cursor will goes on the next line for the next value to be displayed on the screen. Okay, so remember one more thing I have shown in the cout, we call it as end L. We can also use set W functions and so many things are there. As we proceed learning, I think we will be in a position to understand so many cases. Now just you understand that I'm using one more something which is additional, which you have not learned in C programming as end L. Instead of double quote /n, I use directly the end L specifier. Okay, so that will be end L means line. It indicates end of line. So the next printf or next cout will be displayed on the new line. Okay, so I use it as again I give the semicolon here. Okay, so here it will first display data value is, okay, and then whatever the value is there stored in the S data, okay, that value is displayed on the screen. Okay, and now I just end this particular function. Okay, now I have decided, as it is my small object, my class is very simple, small class. I am having only one data as data. I am having only two functions. These are my two functions. Getting? So here I write some comment over here. I think I have written already. This is my data. These are the function. Okay, but generally we call it as a function. We should call it as a member function. That is the proper word we are using. So these are the two member function: set data and show data. Getting me? First function is to set the data of my S data, and another is my show data. Okay, now after these two functions, one more thing what I told, if I'm having a show data function having more than 4, 5 lines, 10 lines, then it is better I declare only the function name here. And okay, so we required the another operator, and we can declare it after. Okay, after close the class, and we see this, no issue. Okay, now you just concentrate whatever we have done. So now I am going to end the class. Okay, small object class small object, and that is the closing bracket now. Okay, now after closing bracket, as you are declaring, when you declare the structure, you give the semicolon. Okay, so here also I am giving the semicolon. Okay, so remember to give the semicolon. This is my opening curly bracket, this is my closing bracket, and end with the semicolon. Getting me? So I am going to end this with the semicolon. Okay, so I have shown you how we can declare the class declaration, class, and then the name of the class. This is the syntax, opening bracket. Then I'm giving the data. I can use these three keywords, maybe private, protected, and public. Okay, I want suppose this integer data. We will learn this. What is private? But now I'm just declaring that the private. My data is generally in the comes under the private, and my function comes under the public. I have to mute your mic. Okay, so I'm having this as my data, and these are my member function. One member function is void set data. I'm passing the d value to this. D value is set to the S data, and show data is using the cout. I'm just going to display this value. Okay, now I'm coming back to the main function. Okay, now in the main function, see what is very important for me is, okay, I'm using the CLR STR impedance, then I will use CLR STR. Okay, and there is, as I told, I can declare the name of the any variable anywhere in the main function, anywhere in the program, not say at the start. Okay, so now here, suppose I want to use this class. Okay, so what is my class name is small object. My class name is small object. I'm just showing it here. Okay, but now whether it has created the object of this class? No, it is just a class declaration. Okay, but we have not yet created the object of that particular class, and unless and until I create the object, I was not in a position to use the data as well as function. I cannot call the function without the object. Okay, so because the object is an instance of that particular class, unless and it is created, I think it's so the class will not be have any memory assigned to it, or we cannot use it. Okay, so here what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the class, okay, or create the object of this particular class. Okay, so how to create the object? Again, the method is same. I may use the keyword as a class, as we are using structure, student, and S1. Okay, I'm just writing it here. Generally, how you declare the member of the structure is struct, stud, and S1. So struct is the keyword, stud is considered to be the name of the structure, and S1 is the member. Okay, now similarly, I think there is no need to write down this class or the structure also. I can directly give the name of the class over here, okay, because my class will act as the data type, created the new data type. So my name of the class is small obj. Okay, my name of class is small obj, and now I'm going to create the object as S1. Okay, or I may want to create one more object, so I will use it as S1 comma S2. Okay, here now this is the statement. These are the statement. So I just highlight this. Small object is the name of my class, and now I have created S1 comma S2, and this is the way, okay, a very simple way we are going to create the defined object of the class. Okay, so I write here in comment. Okay, write in the comment. These are the define or create. Okay, two objects of class small obj. Okay, whatever the name we have given. Okay, obj. Getting me? So now here, when you use this statement, okay, now the memory will be allocated for the object S1 as well as for the S2. Okay, so two objects I have created, two instances I have created. One is S1 and another is S2. I can have access to this member function with the help of the S1 and S2 also. Okay, so because it is a private, I can have access to and call this function. Okay, now suppose I want to call this function through this object. Okay, मला काय करायचं आहे आता using the object S1 and S2, I want to call the function set data. Okay, I want to call the function set data. Okay, using this S1, okay, as my object. Okay, S1 is my object, S2 is also my object. Through S1 now I want to call this set data. So here I have to use, similarly as I'm using the dot operator in the structure. Generally we use S1 dot and you're calling member function name, or maybe you're accessing the data. So similar to this, okay, I'm just going to call the member function. So I write it here, comment, call member function. Okay, through object. It is very simple. Okay, so now suppose I want to call my first function. Okay, I just put it here so that it will be come to the center. Okay, so my first function call I want to call using the object S1. So it will be S1 dot. What is my name of function? Show, I think set data. Okay, set data is my name of the function. I think it is required to pass some value to this. Okay, I want to set this value. So S1 is the name of the object. Dot, I am calling the function set data. Okay, and now I want to pass, suppose the value to this is 1100 semicolon. Getting me? Now here you can find the S1 value I have set, data is 1100. Okay, and now I want to check whether it is set to that value or not. So I will use the display. Okay, so suppose I use here S1 dot show data. Okay, I'm not passing any function to the show data. You can find it here. Set data, I'm passing the integer d, it will accept. Okay, set data is going to accept the integer d value, but show data I'm not passing any value to it. So I'm just calling the function S1 dot show data. Okay, now here I have created the object S2, but now I will not use the object S2. I'm just want to see whether my program is correct. Okay, it is giving me the correct output or not. Here I will just use the getch, okay, to visualize the output, and I just go in the function. Okay, or rather better option is may give the warning S2 is not used. Okay, let it be. Okay, we will do S2 afterward. Okay, add S2 over here, and at least we see whether it is correct. Okay, so whatever we are doing, whether it is correct or not, because generally whenever you do the programming, okay, you should go for incremental program. Okay, असं कधीच करायचं नाही की you are typing so much of the code, okay, 100 lines of code, and then you execute, then you will find there are 20-25 errors are there, and then you try to resolve it. Okay, generally write the simple code, execute, if it is working correctly, add the next. Okay, again execute, it is correct, add the next thing. Okay, that will help you to, you should not get confused with so many errors. Okay, so incrementally you have to increase the size of your program or the code. Okay, and what I am going to do here, I just check whether it is correct. So F2 to save the program, yes. Then I go for the F9. Yes, it is not having any warning also or the errors, no issue. I just execute it, control F9. Yes, data value displayed is 1100. Okay, because I have assigned the data value, set the data value by 1100, and the same is displayed on the screen. Data value assigned is now 1100. Okay, so is this clear to all? I think we have got the correct output. Okay. Okay. Now, up to this, it is clear.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
It is clear to all. Yeah.
Sir, can we define main function in the class itself or not?
Main function in the class, not saying main function inside the main function. I can declare the class now. No issue. I can write my class inside my main function also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
No issue. I think you may have a number of questions in your mind. Okay, no issue. Okay, because we are just starting with, and now I am not. My main purpose is for all the students to just first understand how we are writing the class and how we declare the object and we can use it. Okay, because maybe this is our fourth or fifth lecture, and as that was I told directly I'm moving to the class and object so that it will be easy for us to go into the detail. We are going to see when there is need for me to declare the class inside the main, okay, when it is required to the outside, okay, what is the scope of this and so on, no issue. Okay, so as we are moving to the things in detail, there I don't have any problem. Okay, we will just go continue with this. Okay, now I want see this is my class. I am going to initialize or I'm going to define the class. Okay, this is my class small object. This is my data and these are my member function. Now, as I have created the object S1 and S2, I think the separate memory is associated with the object S1. So S1 is having the separate set data. It is having these two separate functions, set data and show data. Okay. S2 is also having the separate private or it is having the separate memory where it is having the integer S data. Okay, it is having integer S data will be separate variable for the S2 because there is another instance of the object. Okay, so S1 is separate, S2 is separate. Remember. So here, suppose I want to use S1. So here I have used S1 is equal to set data. I have displayed it. Okay, and now suppose I am going to use here. Okay, S2 dot set data. Now I want to declare its value is equal to 22. Suppose. Here S1 is going to separately set the value of the S data to 1100 and S2 is having separate memory, separate variable, separate function can access and now its set data value is 22. Okay, and again I want to display this value also. So I use S2 dot show data. So my S1 dot show data should show me the value is now equal to 1100 and S2 dot show data should show me this value is now considered as a 22. Getting me? Why it is remember it is there will not be any overlapping. Okay, because this I am accessing this set data through S2. So S2 is separate, S1 is separate object. Okay. Again, if I use S1 set data to another value, definitely the value will be changed. Okay, so it will display something different value or another value will be displayed on the screen. Let us check it. Okay, so this indicate that the only purpose of this is to show, to consider that all these objects are completely different. They are separate objects. Okay, they are not, they are having separate memory allocated to them. They are the different instances of, okay, so I just use F2 to save, overwrite, yes, F9, control F9. Okay, so data value first S1. Okay, data value inside the S1 is now 1100 and data value in the S2 is now set to 22. Okay, I hope all of you clear with this. Okay, so what is how to declare the class and how to declare the object of this so that I can start using the data of the class as well as the functions of the class. See, now I'm accessing this data and function with the help of the object I have declared. I have declared S1 and S2. Through this S1 and S2, I will be in a position to display or use the function, have access to the data and so on. Now I just want to make it clear. Okay, so one more thing. Suppose I want to access the input from the user. Okay, I want that the user should enter the data. User should take the data. Okay, instead of passing the data, I want to take the data from the user using the cin. Okay, and I want to assign that data to S data. So where I should modify the function now, or where I should add it in the main or in the class code, where I should add. मला काय करायचं आता, instead of passing this value, I want to take the data value from the user. Okay, and I want to assign that data value to the S data, and then I want to take this value from the user, and then I want to assign to the S data. Okay, so how I can do this? Yes, anyone can give me the answer where I should modify, where I can use cin statement.
In show data.
Okay, very correct. Okay, show data if I use, I think it will not set the value, na. Show data will display only the data output, which is set to the assigned to the S data. S data variable जे काय assign केलेला आहे, that value it is going to display only. So show data is only for display purpose. Okay. So, but I want to assign the data not D, but which is entered by the user. Getting me? Entered by the user. So I'm having two options for this. One, I will take the take this value from the user, getting me, in the main function and call this as data function by passing that value. Barabar? That is one option. Or second option, I can directly use the cin inside my set data. Okay, I just showing you the both the option. See that first option that I'm having. Okay, generally you can go for is. So what I'm going to do is I declared now in that case if I'm doing this, in that case it need me to declare the two more integer variable in my main function. Okay, suppose I call it as integer a. Okay, suppose I declare the value of integer a here. Okay, or I write it here. I use the cout double quote. Okay, I'm writing it here. Enter value for object 1 or S1 you can say. Okay, so I'm just taking here the value from the user. Okay. I hope whether you all of you are listening me carefully, you are getting what I'm saying. See, today I have not gone to the PPT. The reason is I want you should understand how to declare the class, how to use the object. Okay, once it is clear to you and when you do this program on your own, I think it is more easy for me to continue with the further thing. Okay, that's why today I decided not to go to the PPT and explanation, rather we go for it. Okay, now what we want, I want to take this input from the user. So enter value for object 1. To take the input, I should use cin, extraction operator and a. Okay. So I have taken the value for the object 1, or you can call it as S1. Okay, object 1 means S1, cin A, and now where I should pass this A? Yes, anyone? Where should I write this A now? A is now having this value entered by the user. So instead of 1100, correct? I should pass it here A. Getting me? S1 dot set data A. Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I'm doing now, I say F2 to save again. But I have not done for the S2. Remember, for S2 I have directly passing this value 22. Okay, but for S1 I'm just taking from the user. So F2 save F9 control F9. Enter value for the object 1. Suppose I want to pass the value as 55. Yes, you can find the data value. I think I have not declared as S1, whether it is S1 or something. Okay, but no issue. Okay, now it has displayed the enter value for 55 and 22 is passed directly. Okay, so there is no issue. Getting me? Okay, now but this will happen. I may have, suppose I want for all the data, okay, which I am taking, I want to take this value from the user. Okay, I don't want to pass it directly. Okay, आता याच्यामध्ये काय झालंय बघा, object 1 I am taking the value from the user, object 2 I am passing directly to that particular object. Okay, but suppose your program requirement or constraint is you should take this value from the user, okay, and assign that value. If that was the case, so it is better for me to declare or make changes in my function, member function. Getting me? So here, what I am going to do in my program, suppose I want to follow this for the S2. तर मला काय करावं लागेल, परत हे cout cin as it is copy paste करावं लागेल. Enter value for object 2 cin A, again set S2 dot data असं करावं लागेल. Getting me? So if I want for all object, I should take this value from the user. It is better that I will delete this two statement. Okay, I will not take this in the main function and I directly make the changes in my member function here itself. Getting me? Are you clear with this? Yes, I can write down the code or something over here directly. I use cout and cin to enter the object value. Okay, so here I will write down directly in the main function cout double quote. Okay, enter value, enter, I think I have taken small object, small value, so I have small value for object. Okay, so I'm just taking this value semicolon. Okay, C in. Okay, now where I'm going to store as data. Let us check what is going to happen, because the value I'm directly storing into this. Okay, my function I'm not passing. Okay, I'm not allowing user to pass the value over here. So it is my main function will be not accepting the value. It will say that enter small value for object, take the data directly from the user. Okay, so in that case, I have shown you both the option. I can take the value from the main function and pass it, or I can use it. Let us check whether it is okay overwriting on the existing file. Yes. Okay, whether it is having some error. Yes, it is having the two errors here. Okay, now you can find it here. Okay, so in this particular case, okay, I have to take this value. Okay, let us check. Okay, so why am I having the error over here? Yes, anyone can give me the answer. मी आता function काय केलेला आहे? Set data function. I am not passing any value to function. Getting me? I'm not passing anything to it. I'm taking this value directly from the user. Okay, so I just remove this. Okay, and I'm going to just remove this also. Okay, because now what is my function now? Member function. My member function is not pass. I am not passing anything to set data. Directly, it will take this value from the user. Okay, so this is the way that we are considering. So it is my F2 to save. Yes, override F9. You can find no warning, no errors are there. Control F9. Okay, it will asking enter the small value for the object. First object, I think it is actually. So suppose I enter it as a 55 first. Now I think I'm without. I think the second time, two times I'm asking. So enter smaller value for the second object now. Okay, suppose it is will be 111. You can find the output is displayed. Data value for S1 is 55, S2 is 111. Okay, so accordingly you can make the changes in the member function as per the requirement. Okay, as you require. Okay, so I just want everyone to note down this. See, it is better you have take the previous program and this program also. I think you should do both the program. It will be more easy. Okay, is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See, I know that maybe in the first session itself, you will not be, you may have so many questions in your mind, okay, related to the class and the object, the member function, private, public data, no issue. Okay, at least you do this. And as you just goes on using the classes and you create the object, start using the member function for it. I think as you proceed and you start doing it, it will be more easy for you to understand and use this, start using the classes in your program. Okay, whenever you do the program, I think you will be start thinking about the yes, I consider this as a separate class and then I'm going to do this. Okay, so I want everyone to note down the code or may take down a screenshot of this, no issue. I want this both the things. Okay, पहिला आपण जो प्रोग्राम केला होता तो where I think I am passing the value to the function set data integer d असं केलेलं होतं, that program and this program. I want everyone should be in a position to do all the both the program. Okay. Shall I move the screen? You have taken then the screenshot of this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just show the main function now.
Yes, sir.
This is my main function. I think this is my second program. Actually, in first program we have passed the data, set data, and we are passing the value. Okay. And we have modified that. Suppose we want to take the input directly from the user. So that's why we have modified. So generally this is considered as a calling member function. Call member function. Okay, so we are using this. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, what we are going to do in this particular case is, okay, as I said, in general, okay, this is the general way of defining the class. And as I told you that generally, or the way that we are using the classes, is the functions are public. Okay, what I'm saying, the functions are public and the data is private. Okay, so the reason for it, the reason is I call it as it will have an additional feature called as the data hiding. Okay, the meaning of data hiding is that this s dot s data, this integer variable s data will not be accessible in my main function directly. Getting me? Though I have created object, I cannot have access to this as data directly because it is private. Okay, and it is accessible only to the member function. Getting me? So it is accessible only to the member function. As data is having the access to the, and it is going to set the value over here. Okay, so it is going to set this value, okay, at this particular location or the way, no issue. But I cannot set this value. Okay, cannot access this as data directly outside the this particular class without use of the member function. Okay, for example, okay, I'm just showing it here. Definitely in next lecture, I'm going to show you with on PPTs what is public, private, protected, what it is, and we are going to do the program also. But just as we are having the 5-10 minutes only, okay, I think it is not possible for me to show the all things on PPT. So next lecture we are going to continue with this. Okay, but I'm just showing it here. Suppose I want to use the assign some value to this as data. Okay, so suppose I'm using this function, no issue. After the show data is there, no issue. Okay, end. And now I want to use function. I want to access the s1 dot s data. S1 is my object. Okay, and s data is my data that I'm having. Okay, where I am having this data. Yes, this is my private data for the small object class integer s data. Correct. And now s1 is my object. Okay, we have created it. So s1 dot s data is equal to, suppose I want to use it as 100. Okay, means now I'm accessing this s data variable. Definitely I'm accessing to the object. Okay, object where I cannot have access to it. Without object I cannot access. Okay, but now I'm accessing, I want to assign this value s1 dot s data is equal to 100. So again I just execute it. You can see what will happen. Overwrite yes, F9. Yes, you can find the error is there. Okay, and what is the error? Small object is not accessible. Okay, why it is not accessible? Because this is made as a private. Okay, I have made the private. The meaning of the data is private is, I repeat this sentence again. The data means it is private, indicate that it is accessible only through the member function. Getting me? I cannot have write this statement directly s1 dot s data is equal to 100. Okay, because it is not accessible. Again, I repeat why it is not accessible. Why it is not accessible? Because it is private. Getting me? It is not accessible because it is a private data. Okay, it is declared as a private. Okay, so it is not accessible. Now suppose I declare it as a public, then whether it is accessible. Okay, let us check. Okay, all of you are getting me what I am saying?
Yes, sir.
ओके, सध्या काय केलेलं आहे आपण इंटिजर एस डेटा आपण प्रायव्हेट डिक्लेअर केलेला आहे. सो प्रायव्हेट असेल तर काय, व्हॉट आय सेड, इफ इट इज प्रायव्हेट इट इज ऍक्सेसिबल ओनली थ्रू दिस मेंबर फंक्शन. मेंबर फंक्शन थ्रू आपण ऍक्सेस करू शकतो, नो इशू. सो आय एम युजिंग s1 डॉट सेट डेटा अँड आय हॅव ऍक्सेस टू दिस. युजिंग शो डेटा, s1 डॉट शो डेटा, आय हॅव ऍक्सेस टू द एस डेटा. ओके, बट आय कॅनॉट यूज इट डायरेक्टली. आता इथे आपण डायरेक्ट यूज केलं बघा इथं s1 डॉट एस डेटा, किंवा मी असं यूज केलं सी आउट s1 डॉट एस डेटा. ओके, आय कॅनॉट डू दिस. Okay, or suppose I am using here see out dot s data. No, it is not possible because this is not accessible me directly because it is a private. Okay, it is accessible only through this function set data or show data. Okay, so that's why this is the meaning of this. Okay, now suppose instead of that, if I make this as a public, okay, then what will happen? Let us check. ये private है कि नहीं? I'm just going to remove this. I'm just okay, delete this private. And by default, options पण आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये. I think next lecture I will show in the PPT. Okay, so now I just remove this here. Okay, and I will also make this data also as a public integer s data. Okay, आता मी काय केले बघा, integer s data काय आहे. Now this is comes under the public integer s data. Okay, now I am having this statement I have written here, s1 dot data is equal to 100 and cout s1 dot s data. Okay, let us see what it will going to give me the error, or okay, is there any issues. Okay, I'm just showing it. We are going to learn in next lecture all this public, protected, private in detail with the help of example. As we are having the time, that is the only reason I'm showing it. Now I think there is no error. Yes, you can find it. Screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
It is visible. No errors. Okay, I go for control F9. Yes, first object data suppose 11, second is 22. You can find here the 100 is displayed at the end. Okay, last ला तुम्हाला 100 display झाले दिसते बघा. That is my cout statement s1 dot data, and I have assigned the s1 dot data directly to 100 value. Okay, and it has displayed. So this means that, okay, if I declared this data as the public, आता मी काय केले बघा, integer s data declared as the public, so I'm having the access to this data directly. His statement now, these are the not error, these are the correct statement. S1 dot s data is equal to 100. I can assign the value, I can display the value of this directly. Okay, when it is possible, definitely the data is accessible only through the member, sorry, only through the object s1 dot, and then I can use this. This is very correct. Okay, but it is applicable outside my class. In the main function is accessible because it is now public. Public means it is accessible to all. So that's why I can have this two statement. And if I am having these two statement, see this statement, first one is to set the data and second statement is to display the data. I think if that was the case, there is no need to have these two function, set data and show data. ह्याची आपल्याला काय गरजच नाही ना. Why to use these two function? Directly main program मध्ये I can assign I can use this function and I can display it. So why to call this function? Okay, so that's why we are doing this. Now this data which is there, okay, is not hide from others because it is public now. Getting me? I want that this data should be hidden. So that's why I have said in general, okay, general class, whenever I'm going to declare, so always make the habit of considering your data is to be private. Okay, so it will not be accessible outside the class any function. It is accessible only through the member function, integer s data. Okay, so now this is my data is private and the functions are public. So जर एखाद्या program ला, see what I'm saying, suppose any program, anyone want to access this data, it access only through this function. Okay, so and the function, suppose I have given the access, then it will be applicable, no issue. Okay, now suppose I consider it as here as suppose this is my account. Okay, this is my account balance. Okay, I want that account balance never be less than 1000. Suppose, okay, any constraints are there, then I can put this constraint in the main function, or these are the member function. I can have this, and no one can have access this private data directly. They can access only through the function, and whatever my conditions are there, I am going to put in my function. So no one can set the balance value is equal to this directly. Okay, they can access this only through the main function or member function, and in member function I can put the constraint whatever I want. Okay, so this is what the general way of writing the class. I repeat this again. Generally or usually we are considering that we are define the data as a private and we define the member function as a public. The private data is accessible only through the member function. Okay, suppose I want to access, आता आपण बघितलं S1 want to access the data value of S data, काय करेल तो, it will call S1 dot set data, then only it can have access to the S data. Suppose it want to display the S data value balance, त्याला display करायचा आहे, it can have only to call this function show data, the balance will be displayed. It cannot have direct access to the balance or this particular data, direct access, and that is called as the data hiding. Okay, the concept. Okay, yes, this is clear to all.
Yes, sir.
So I want today, Okay, I want each and every student should execute this code. With तुम्हाला दोन option every time I'm going to explain this. You take the screenshot of this, no issue, but try to do on your own first. You can find error. Okay, तुम्ही type करताना तुमच्या लक्षात येईल की class and then what to do. Okay, now the class, then opening. So let you have the error. Okay, you come to know that which are the things that I have mistake you have done. Okay, then refer the program, then type it, correct it, see the output. Okay, because until you start doing on your own, I think it is difficult. For example, okay, I'm just telling it as an example. Definitely, I'm having so much years of experience, so I'm doing this, no issue. Okay, but this should be known by you also. Now I'm directly typing the program. You can find. Okay, I declare the class this. Okay, I want to do this. Okay, I'm doing it. Why it is possible? Only through the practice it is possible for me to do this. Okay. Need for me to refer any book or anything. Okay, this is the thing I want, that you should be in a position to do it. Okay, you should have a clear understanding of this. Make the practice of doing the program. Okay, so it is compulsory homework. Okay, for all the students to do this program on your own. See output whether it is giving me the correct output or are there any errors are there. Okay, so I want everyone to do this. Okay, and that is considered as. I hope all of you are also executed the yesterday's program. Okay. Yesterday, which program we have done? I think we have just started with the C++ and learn what is C out and C in, how to include the iostream.h header file. Okay. And how to take the display some message, take the input from the user, addition of two numbers and display the output using C out. Okay. We have learned one more thing here, that is end L. Okay. End L card, what is going to happen if I remove end L? I think the that's output आपलं कसं आहे, you can find here. Current output is enter small value for object 11. त्यानंतर new line ला ना हे. Again enter small value, new line. Again here new line. Again here new line. Okay. But if I remove this end L, I think it will not come on the new line. Next statement will not come on the new line. Okay. So if I want instead of slash n, it is easy for us to use the end L. Okay. I think suppose I remove this end L. Okay. Now and save F2, F9. Yes, rebuild F9. Errors are there. Just 1 minute. Okay, I have declared it as a private. No issue. I have to delete these two statements because my data is private now. F2, F9. Yes. Control F9. Yes. Suppose I have entered the value as 11, 22. Here you can find. Then look at the third line. Data value is 11. Data value is 22. Okay. Data value is 11. Again 11 nantar immediately data value is 22 displayed because I am not using the end L here. Input घेताना I am pressing the enter automatically after 11, so it will come on the new line. Okay. But while displaying, I think it has both the values are displayed on the same line. So I think it is better you make the habit of using the end L at the whenever you are displaying something here. Okay, so end L indicate line. This is the end of line. So next thing will become automatically on the new line. Okay. So I hope we have learned only these things today. How to declare the small simple class, private data, public members, and declare the object. Okay, create the object of this as a small obj s1 s2 and access this private data, set the data and display the data through this object and member function, object dot member function. Okay, so I hope all of you understood this. Do this, I repeat again, unless until you do this program on your own, I think it will be a little bit difficult for you to continue with the next programs and the understanding of the next concept. Okay, thank you. I just save the program. Yes, it is saved already. Okay, I think we're going to end the session here. Let me download the attendance, just 1 minute.